What's up? Today we're talking to Mark Lettieri, one of the most versatile, gifted, humble, amazing guitar players on the planet. You may know Mark best from his signature PRS Fiore guitar, of which I have in Larkspur Blue. I caught up with Mark when he was in Nashville touring with Corey Wong's band, and we just had a great old time talking about, well, the title of this video, Shred, and what you think it means versus what it really means. We also talk about Mark's new solo album, Can I Tell You Something, which is streaming now. Check the links in the description for everything we get into in this video. And Mark is one of those musicians who just always has something ready to go for any genre. He's one of the most versatile musicians. He's played with any band you can think of as far as genres concerned, from Erykah Badu to 50 Cent to Snarky Puppy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this incredible guitar conversation with the one and only Mark Lettieri.
Matching guitars, but different colors.
Which one's your favorite color out of these two?
Besides that one?
Yeah, besides this one.
I mean, the red's really cool. This was the first one we came up with. This one's definitely seen some road.
That has the natural. You can see the wood on that.
Yeah, it's got the wood grain going through, and there's scratches and dings all over.
Do those come with it? The scratches?
No, it's well loved. That's what you want, though. You want to have a guitar. I like new guitars, but I also like ones that I've played for a long time.
Where would be like the Mark Lettieri buckle rash if you like? Where's it eventually going to be on this guitar?
Well, it's interesting. There's definitely some schmutz, as you could say, maybe right around here, because I do kind of anchor usually like a pinky or something around here if I'm doing something.
Okay, you got a little pinky anchor spot.
Yeah, and actually this hasn't gone yet, but the chrome here might start to eventually go away because I do sometimes just kind of chill. Do you have a spot?
My kind of thing is just juice getting in this bridge.
Oh, yeah, well, these are also, yes. So, okay, here you go. That's pretty,
yeah.
That's got some love on it.
When you pick up a guitar to get warmed up in the morning like we're doing right now,
yeah.
Do you have a go-to setting that just always is like, oh, this is home?
Dude.
Or is it just whatever?
I play unplugged a lot.
Oh, okay.
Do you ever do that?
Yeah.
The kitchen table, like, with a cup of coffee or something for, like, 20 minutes.
I think that playing the electric guitar unplugged phenomenon is actually not a phenomenon at all. The more and more people I find are like, yeah, I kind of just pick it up and play around the house unplugged.
It's because it's forgiving.
Yeah.
Amps, amplify all the crappy noises that you're making.
True. You gotta take the good with the bad.
Exactly.
So you're in town here in Nashville for a Corey Wong run of shows.
Correct.
I don't know what to call you, like a maestro.
Well, I think the term they're using is special guest.
You're a special guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your presence in that band was awesome.
Thanks, man.
I want to go over some of the lead stuff that you took.
Cool.
Because I know that's just a blast to be able to shred over a band
well,
like that.
they're such a great band.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so musical, and of course the pocket is 100%. This goes with their band. Thankfully, all the musicians that I get to play with at this point in my career are great listeners.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone is just eyes up, ears up, and really in tune with what's going on around. Even if it's not even a solo section, it could be a verse, a chorus, whatever it is, but everyone's super hyper aware of what they're playing and how it's fitting the ensemble and the songs.
What was the first thing that made you choose guitar as this is going to be the thing that pays my bills?
Oh, man. It pays my bills. No,
You know,
I think it was maybe a little bit later for me than some musicians. I didn't go to music school. I went to university and studied advertising and marketing. So I thought that was kind of going to be my gig, you know. And I think maybe someday it might. I might.
You know what I'm saying? Can come up with the next Pepsi jingle.
Yeah. You know, when I was a teenager playing guitar with my friends, we all thought, okay, if you want to be a professional musician, you have to be a rock and roll star in a famous band or something, right?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden you realize, like, wait a minute, there's people that aren't that have great careers in music.
Turns out.
Right, turns out.
Yeah.
And a lot of those players are what you call sidemen or session musicians or freelance players. And so that was appealing to me.
So did you ever get any sort of actual job using your degree?
Well, not really. I had an internship at a real nice PR firm right before my senior year of college during the summer, and that was kind of a, you know, great company, great people, but it was also one of those experiences where I was like sitting at a desk going like, I don't think I'm really supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that means.
I felt that same feeling in a golf pro shop.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I was like, I'm not supposed to be taking tea times. I promised myself this.
All that to say, like, just because you are working a 9 to 5 and playing music does not mean that you aren't a musician or you aren't a career musician or anything like that.
I think that's most musicians have other jobs and stuff.
Yeah, you got to make your money, man. Mm-hmm. You got to support.
You probably have a Wikipedia page.
I do.
I
might need to edit it.
I should have done that. One of your Wikipedia highlights, at least the first time I came to know you, was through Snarky Puppy.
Sure, yeah.
And
they got that's on Wikipedia.
They got that right.
We talked about listening a minute ago, and that band is, you know, one of the best at that. And just being hyper aware of the composition and serving the song, even though these are like pretty complicated instrumental pieces of music. I mean, we do also sort of treat it like it's a 3-chord pop song, right? Like, you got to play the right stuff at the right time for it to really work. So that was a big education for me, and just being around musicians of that caliber who can play anything well and authentically and with a unique approach to it. Like, that's what I loved about that band, is everyone has a very individual sound. Like, you know immediately who it is when they're playing or soloing, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so that's always been super inspiring. And my music comes from maybe a little bit of a different perspective, maybe more of a rock background or something, or maybe more guitar focused. But
I mean, you do have the raw stuff going on. But when we were sitting down and you were just checking sounds, there was a lot of really awesome jazz, almost etude type stuff going on. Where do you approach guitar from, like, the music theory side of things?
I've had some great teachers along the way, private lessons type
so it was
stuff,
all private
mentors,
instruction
like that. Yeah,
cool.
And so of course I picked up stuff from them, and then picked up also just from, you know, I mean, heck, the internet. I mean, you know.
Yeah. You went on YouTube, dude?
I have. Like, you got to learn a solo for a cover band gig. And you're like, I don't, you're going to watch this guy teach me how to do it. But yeah, I mean, if I'm just, like, playing, like, if I'm deciding I'm in the key of, I don't know, C major or something.
I love how that's how you demonstrate C major.
Well, I mean, but it was. I mean, it was a 1, 2, 3, 6, flat 6, 5, flat 5. I don't know if I played all those notes, but you know, I love chords. I love harmony like that.
Like chord melody type.
A little bit, yeah. I'm nowhere near as advanced as the real gospel players, but I do owe a lot to guys like Jonathan Dubose and players like that. Like I remember the first time I heard this chord, or somebody do this, like I lost my mind.
Oh yeah, on that like, fourth position too.
Yeah, and that was a Jonathan Dubose thing, and we're in the key of D now, right? And, you know, you get this beautiful 4 chord, and then a 3 chord, but it's not a 3 minor. It's like,
was that like a minor 7 sharp 5?
It's like a D add 2 for F sharp. So it's that you've heard in a million. Right. So if we go, you could play like, which is one way, or right, all that beautiful stuff. Yeah, you can play. You can do that.
Oh,
The little internal thing there. Yeah.
that's really nice.
You know, over your as your 2 chord.
Oh, that's a little 2 minor thing.
That's like with a. I guess it would be a natural 6. Right. I heard those players do that, and I was just like, man, this is beautiful. You know, I mean, it's a language, so if you can speak it sort of the technical way, it helps. But my whole thing is like, I never wanted to be in a situation where I didn't know what to play.
Yeah.
And there are still situations like
That's
that,
the worst
of course,
feeling, right?
But you know, 8 times out of 10,
Yes.
you know, I can have something musical to say in a particular situation. And I think, you know, having a knowledge of theory has definitely helped.
Do you practice anything more than the other as far as exercises or just guitar in general when you pick it up? Or?
Not so much anymore. I mean, I think there was definitely. I mean, I still love learning songs and learning parts and things like that. And so that was definitely a big part of my sort of formative years, was just playing to records.
Yeah.
CDs, I guess. You know, records.
CDs
CDs
on
and MP3s.
What were some CDs you were blaring?
Oh my gosh. I literally jammed to everything from Megadeth to Raphael Sadiq. I mean, it was it was all over the place, man. The challenge, I think, now that I'm writing and producing my own music is like funneling all that into what does Mark Lettieri sound like.
Yeah,
It's taken me like 9 records and I still haven't quite figured it out.
You don't
yet.
think you found what it is
I don't
yet?
know. I mean, I think maybe I do, but it's a pretty diverse explanation, which for the average listener who might be just picking up a Mark Lettieri record goes, wow, this is really different than this. Like, is this the same guy? You know? And I don't know. It's these are all very internal struggles that I'm sharing with you publicly and the internet. Apparently,
Dude,
now,
I mean, this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool to be on display like that, because if I've learned anything about internet and putting yourself out there, that authenticity, people like that, and just knowing.
well, you've got that down.
Well, if you're switching between sounds, a lot of your stuff is instrumental.
Right.
So creating a through line of your sound
Yeah. It's hard.
is, I don't even know. I mean, I got a Satch guitar hanging there. Across
very
his
cool-looking
different albums, you can hear him in his, notes,
Right.
but not always
yeah.
could you say, like, this is Satch, if
Right.
you need any consolation.
Well-
like, if you're really crying yourself asleep at night.
I think it just might be different for, like, when I'm in this chair as the artist to go, like, well, what
Yeah, what are you
is
going to...
it? But, and maybe it's a lot of things, and maybe that's fine.
What was your shred phase?
Oh, man. Well, it's
Like-
pretty haphazard. Shred is funny. Because there are definitely
I use shred as
I
a
know.
very
It's
loose
like, man,
term.
I've heard country shredders, I've heard jazz
Shred
shredders,
phrase.
I've heard...
Well, I've heard you
bluegrass
play
shredders, you know?
quick, high gain stuff, and I get little Petrucci round.
There's probably a little bit of that.
vibes
Yeah, I
in
mean,
there.
I think in terms of like the alternate picking kinds, which I don't have those chops. I have a few things
You got a
that I
couple
can
runs in
do
you?
in the time when the heat of the battle requires
Yeah,
that
yeah.
particular piece of weaponry. But sure, Petrucci, Ian Thornley.
Oh, yeah, super underrated.
Lukather's got some great stuff like that.
Lukather's the
Andy
best.
Wood, our buddy.
I think shred, what it means to me, is something that grabs the attention of the layperson. So it could, like, for me, when I heard Steve Vai do this.
It's an Edward thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
And even-
and I heard that tap harmonic thing. Whoa, what the hell was that?
Right.
And I get that same feeling when, somebody's ripping a fast lick or
That's
whatever,
an
like,
interesting
or a
perspective,
harmonic or something.
Right.
Like, even shredding,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
that's shredding.
Yeah, it's exciting, and it's a fun way to express yourself. I think I welcome it.
Do you have?
Wish I could do it better.
Well, you do some stuff with the whammy bar, which you wanted on your guitar
Yeah,
for a
yeah, yeah,
reason.
totally.
What's your? What are some whammy things you might?
I mean,
Introduce.
I love that kind of lyrical tremolo bar wang bar, whammy bar, vibrato bar
Yeah.
type of playing, and so that's a big part of my language. And maybe I think to use your term shred, maybe that's my shred.
That's your shred.
Because sometimes if you pull that out in the middle of a solo in front of a crowd, they go, whoa. So if it makes you go, whoa, then maybe you're shredding, you know? And I love just using the bar. I'll put a little bit of gain on here. Well, maybe a lot of gain. Like all that sort of fake Jeff stuff, right? Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a cool, I don't know, it doesn't sound like a guitar.
Maybe Steve Vai was the first. This is coffee, by the way. I've spilled
Oh, well, I have
coffee ice.
I might have blood on it. I just realized I cut my finger the other day and like rested it on my jeans, and here we are. Tour life.
Yeah, man, you're out there.
Oh yeah,
That he kind of slurs
Yeah.
on the note.
yeah. The whole. That's a satch. That's a satch. Well, he does the
There it
that
is.
kind of thing, which I think is. I don't know. Maybe you need a Floyd to do that.
Yeah, you
People
gotta
have
get
said
real
that they
deep
need to
down
put the
there.
Floyd on the Fiore, but I don't know if I'm ready to take that step.
Are you gonna do it?
I don't know. Maybe private stock or something.
Yeah, private stock Fiore, Floyd
With a
Fiore.
Floyd Fiore. But yeah, I mean, like what I like to do if we'll get at, we'll kind of go back to groove guitar, is using the bar as like a, almost kind of as you would a pitch wheel on a keyboard, like
Oh,
for
yeah.
the vibrato.
Just like a little nudge.
Yeah, like if we're playing a groove, if I'm like. You know, it's like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's shredding. Because
That's-
it's a trick and it makes people go, ooh, what was that?
I think this is the new definition of shred.
Okay, there you go.
That's what we've
I like
established.
That's a good one. Is this the camera that the audience?
Yeah,
looks
this is
Oh.
like main cam, or you can look
Hi,
at this
everybody.
right there.
Oh, okay.
That groove you were playing reminded me of the thing you were shredding on last night.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, so that's on my baritone guitar, but I can still demonstrate. It's like a one chord, it's a one chord vamp, so what are you gonna do?
Right.
Right? And it's sort of, you can play the applicable sounds like Dorian or blues or whatever, or you can play chromatic, you can kind of get out a little bit, some more like sort of altered or half whole diminished kind of sounds, which maybe was what I was doing. Right, so I mean, I was borrowing from Dorian melodic minor. I think a lot of it, when you are playing a one chord vamp, is the phrasing.
Yes.
And I know people
The
use that
melodic
word a
rhythm.
lot, but the rhythm,
Yeah.
like I could play minor pentatonic over that whole thing and make it sound hip if I just placed the notes in a cool way. Like if the solos were groovy, like if the phrasing was danceable. You know what I'm saying?
Can you go through like out, in, groovy,
Okay.
happy, as many different feels?
Yeah, all right, sure.
See how many moods you can make us feel.
Dirt on here. Which one do you want first?
Start with familiar and not outside at all.
Okay, cool.
And then slowly work your way out.
All right,
Come back in.
go for it. This might be sort of like what I would consider happy or silly. Something like this. Right, so it sounds like you're telling a joke or something.
Yeah.
So like playing a phrase, repeating it a little bit differently, repeating it again, and then putting the period on the end of the sentence. Horn players do that all day long.
That's a good point.
Not guitar players.
Yeah.
One of my favorite keyboard soloists, I mean, there's several, but there's a guy named, he's since passed, but Bernard Wright. I would encourage everyone to check out
Bernard Wright.
He played with Berta Flack, he played with Miles Davis, had a great solo career. A lot of his stuff has been sampled by Snoop Dogg and all that, but one of the most brilliant keyboard improvisers.
I hear a lot of great guitar players say, yeah, I want to make it sound like this.
Yeah, well, you gotta
when
listen
they're
to
not
that.
describing a guitar.
Yeah.
I guess that's the key to tapping into your voice. You know, you said you were still looking for the final form.
Yeah, you'll find it in not guitar things, I think. I mean, really, you know,
Using the guitar to make, you know, just whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing is, like, in Snarky Puppy, right, it's like the guitar players all want to be keyboard players, the horn players all want to be guitar players, you know, the keyboardists all want to be drummers, you know.
Oh, that's funny, yeah.
So,
horn players do want to be guitar players.
They all got
especially
pedals
after
now,
watching
man.
the Corey Wong
Jay
band
Webb
last
had
night.
a pedal board, and all the Snarky guys have pedal boards, and they're getting some wild sound. I mean, like,
The horn players are encroaching.
shredding.
solo stuff fit in?
I've been real busy with it lately. And that's kind of what I'm gearing up for next year, is kind of getting that stuff together. We got a pretty sizable tour in Europe in the spring that I'm putting the bow on soon and finalizing. We'll be announcing that soon. And then, you know, the Snarky Puppy thing's a little bit more fluid because I share the gig, you know, with the two other guys, Bob and Chris. And so we do have that flexibility once the dates kind of get emailed out to, you know, if you can't do it, you can't do it, because you know the other guys can be able to do it. So
yeah, so
that's actually pretty cool to have that flexibility. I mean, I hope the Fearless Flyers are going to do some more gigs next year. But like if I'm at home, for example, the logistical management of all those things. Yeah. Travel, it's lodging, it's backline, it's advertising, it's getting the material together. Like the last thing on my mind is like, oh wait, I got to play these songs in front of people.
Right.
You know,
that
like,
can be alarming too.
Do we have enough merch? Like it's all these things, you know, for one gig. So you take that and multiply it by 15 or however many you're doing, and it's I'm exhausted after a tour. Yeah, you know, I mean, this thing with Corey, I'm probably going to be exhausted anyway because it's a very high energy band. But you know, he's got people that are doing all.
you honestly you were a little bit more like you fit the Halloween mold, just like I'm here doing my thing.
I think that's kind of our dynamic.
That's your total character.
He's going all over the place, and I'm, you know, sitting in the cut like that. But I like to let loose. It's interesting because if I let loose too much, I just physically I'll miss notes.
You can't shred?
So
Dude,
like,
you
I
can't
guess-
shred if you let
that's
loose?
right, yeah, it's like it turns out. It's a couple times. Maybe tonight. The second night. It's Halloween.
There you go.
Do a couple flips off the drum riser or something. But here's a cool riff. This is from a song called Dragonfly, which is the first track on the record.
That's the first one, yeah. That's my favorite one.
Thank you, man. And that's like I think that's kind of a bit of an Ian Thornley inspired riff. We were talking about him earlier, Big Wreck. If you guys don't know that band, check them out.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Rick Graham, the guitar virtuoso, turned me on to Big Wreck.
There you go. Yeah, they're incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Actually, the Lettieri group got to open for them when they were in Texas.
Oh, really?
A little while ago. It was great.
They must be amazing live.
They were great. It was at the Guitar Sanctuary. You've been to the Guitar
yeah.
Sanctuary in McKinney, yeah.
That's awesome.
And they have that room, which is it's a venue, but it's also like a wedding venue. So the shape of it's kind of funky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a last minute addition for Big Wreck. They had a day off, and the Guitar Sanctuary was like, "Hey, do y'all want to come?" Because they were on tour with Daughtry, I think it was.
Cool.
So they were playing these big theaters. So Ian and the guys had like their stadium rig.
Oh, shit. In that little oval.
In the little room.
Yeah.
And so Seku's drum set was like this big thing. And
That's hilarious.
most of Ian's cabs were in a closet, like one of the storage closets.
No.
Because he couldn't just downsize.
Yeah, it would just...
know.
Well, also it would blow someone's head off.
Exactly.
So,
So I think he
had
had one on stage, and then the rest of them were in a cabinet or a closet, and so we just had to set up in front of them because you couldn't move any of them. It was just impossible to do like a changeover like that. So the
stage
might be on
has
YouTube
been
where we're
cut in
all
half.
just like, but they were so cool, and I mean played incredibly, and that was cool for me to kind of get to open up for some heroes like that. But anyway, the riff.
So the Dragonfly came from that exact gig experience.
Maybe so. Well, it kind of came from I was two things were happening. I was watching a lot of nature documentaries with my kid. And
Planet Earth?
It was something like
Something
that.
like
Or
that.
the other one.
Human planet.
Yeah, our planet. Life on this planet.
One
There's
of the
one
planets.
that, yeah.
One of the
where it's
David
like-
Attenborough.
Yeah, and you see the dragonfly like right like this, you know, and so that was in my mind, that vision of this creature. But also I had just finished watching the remake of the first Dune.
Oh,
And
nice.
they have those dragonfly helicopters.
Those are sweet.
And I thought that was just the coolest. I like kind of futuristic sci-fi design.
I like the military vehicles in that whole world.
Yeah, the whole really cool concept. So I was like, cool. That's in my mind, these riffs, you know, these influences, and here we go. We have a song.
Love it.
And then I interspersed that with some kind of funky changes and things like some chords in there for the melody, and this solo's got some neat changes. It's a hard one to solo or for me.
Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah, I like that riff. That's a good one. I think a lot of my records have some sort of like aggressive riff in E.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the guitar player's key.
Yeah, another one that I like is the song Catboy from this record, Future Fun, which goes like this. So it's in 13,
Super
which
cool.
was not done to be slick. It's just that's how
That's how it came
riff
out of your
came
head.
out. And
Yeah, man. That's the ultimate struggle, is trying to figure out if, at least for me when I'm writing music, is this enough to continue down the path of past a minute? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I grew up recording myself, and I guess it's what led me down this path of creating content, and
Right.
I love bite-sized ideas, and I know a lot of people think about music this way, and when they're recording themselves, because you can
Right.
record so easily now.
Yeah.
Everyone has a library of 1-minute riffs and unfleshed out ideas. How do you get over that hurdle if you
Right.
ever feel that feeling?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. And I do have a library of 1 minute.
You got that.
unfinished and then I do have a library of 1 minute things, and that's called my Instagram account.
Oh, yes.
But I think really what it is for me is trying to find, if you do have that 1 minute idea, is seeing if you can identify it to something non-musical. Like we talked about that Dragonfly riff, which
Sure,
is from
sure.
the album Can I Tell You Something, by the way. Available on Ground Up Music now.
Links in the description.
Links, and gotta plug it. So for me, it was like, okay, cool. This is musical. Obviously, this riff sounds cool. It has a musical rock and roll progressive thing, but it also, I identify it with these other concepts. The helicopter that we discussed, this actual dragonfly animal. Mm-hmm. So how can I use those elements to keep this riff going, or to turn it into something else? And I think the point of there was, I have this riff. I don't think I need to add to it in the sense that, like, take the riff and do more with the riff. I think I need another section.
Yeah.
So what in this mind's eye that I have, what is this dragonfly telling me that this section needs to be?
Yeah, where's it gonna go?
Where's it gonna go? Right. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I'll put it on the chorus because I like this thing.
Yeah.
You know, these sort of chords. And then I wrote the melody over these kind of pretty chords. So it became this like really deep aggressive thing. Like maybe that's the helicopter from Dune, mm-hmm. and then we have this more romantic part. Maybe that's the actual insect.
Yeah.
Right, hovering in slow-mo over the water, kind of thing.
Right.
So you guys are probably going like, this guy's out of his mind.
Nah,
but
dude.
that's how you write instrumental music.
Yeah, man. I think that's really enlightening, because essentially what you're saying is give more meaning to your music beyond just like, I gotta record this idea.
Yeah.
It's like, what does this idea mean to you? And sometimes you can forget, like, if you do this for a living, or even if you're just not focused or whatever, you can forget why you're making the music. Yeah. Even if it just feels good, that's one thing. But that's really cool, like the intention behind it.
I like, yeah. I mean, and I do think of that. Like this is the the robotic technical bit, and then you have the sort of more organic bit. Two types of dragonfly that are sort of communicating in this piece of music. And so I try to have those sorts of things for everything that I compose, even if it didn't come from that.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously when you write stuff, you're on the couch watching Sports Center. And you're like, oh, this riff's cool. Okay, cool. If it is cool,
it would come when I'm watching Sports
you know
Center,
what I mean?
because that music in the background.
Right. But you can you take that riff, and if it still means something to you, because I think we all know that there are certain things that felt good at the time, and then maybe just don't have meaning, and that's totally okay. It doesn't mean it's a wasted thought, because coming up with those thoughts gets you to the real thoughts, the real ideas that turn into the songs, right? I like to throw something away and then come back to it years later and see if it still has a meaning. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes I'll comb through like date last opened. I'm like, oh
there
God,
you go.
what could this be?
2017.
Yeah, it's like looking at a scrapbook or something. I do have, this is another way that I think about it is, what riffs do I care to remember? And this riff I made up, and I've never forgotten it. So I know eventually I'll turn it into something.
I like that. I'll use it if you don't use it.
You want it? Somebody may get this thing out there, but I have, a bank of those too that in the computer, they're saved to my brain hard drive. Man, and that's like gets me closer to like, all right, this is what I got to write.